history of the Holocaust shows us humankind's capacity for cruelty and violence. But there are also countless stories of courage and compassion. Ilza Totska's is one of those stories. In 1913, Ilza Sonia Totska was born in Strasbourg, which is a city that's now in France but was in Germany at the time. Ilza's was an artistic family. Her mother was an actor, and her father directed the choir at the local theater. So it's no surprise that Ilza grew up interested in the arts, and her particular interest was music. When she was 19 years old, Ilza moved to Würzburg, where she began to study violin and piano. While there, Ilza made several Jewish friends, and she maintained these friendships even after the anti-Semitic Nazi Party came to power in January of 1933. The records don't tell us how Ilza herself defined her sexuality or gender identity, but surviving photographs show that she dressed in a butch style and may have even passed as a man at certain times. She wore men's clothing and kept her hair in a masculine style that was popular among lesbians in the 1920s. In 1939, a physical education instructor at the University of Würzburg denounced Ilza to the Gestapo and told them that she was a spy. When the Gestapo asked what evidence he had, he told the Gestapo simply that she didn't receive her mail at home and that she hung around with Jews. So the Gestapo opened an investigation, and as part of that, they interviewed Ilza's landlord. The landlord told the Nazis that Ilza was a social outsider and a man-hater who did not receive gentlemen callers. The implication was that Ilza was a lesbian. At first, these two accusations, that Ilza was a spy and a man-hater, might seem unrelated. But according to a widespread transphobic and homophobic stereotype of the time, people who cross-dressed or who hid their sexuality were accustomed to living life in disguise. This supposedly meant that LGBTQ people, but especially trans people, were more likely to be deceitful and good at avoiding detection, which were seen as perfect qualities for being a spy. In May of 1941, someone else denounced Ilza to the Würzburg Gestapo. This time, it was a neighbor who said that she had witnessed Ilza in an intimate friendship with another woman. To make matters worse, the neighbor said that the other woman was underage, which she wasn't, and that she was Jewish, which was also untrue. The Gestapo called Ilza in for questioning, but it seems they didn't have enough evidence to arrest her. So they released her with a warning and made her sign a document stating that if she did not immediately cease all interactions with Jewish people, she would be sent to a concentration camp. Ilza left the Gestapo headquarters, but continued her friendships with Jewish people. In late 1942, while in Berlin, Ilza befriended a Jewish woman named Ruth Basinski. Ilza knew that Ruth was in danger for being Jewish, so she devised a plan to help Ruth escape out of Germany. On the night of February 26, 1943, the two women made the long, daring, cold journey across the border into Switzerland. Unfortunately, the Swiss border guards caught them and turned them both over to the German police. Because Ruth was Jewish, she was immediately deported to Auschwitz. The Nazis held Ilza for questioning as they tried to figure out what to do with her. During her interrogation, Ilza told the officer, "I wanted to flee Germany because I reject Nazism. Above all, I cannot endorse the Nuremberg laws. I did not want to continue living in Germany under any circumstances." These were courageous statements to make against anti-Semitism and against Nazism. In May of 1943, the Nazis sent Ilza to Ravensbrück, which was the concentration camp for women. She stayed there for almost 2 years until she was liberated in April of 1945. Her friend Ruth Basinski also survived. After the war, Ilza lived for a while in Paris and then moved back to Würzburg in 1954, and then eventually moved back to her hometown of Strasbourg. Ilza Totska passed away in March of 1987 at the age of 73. In 1995, Yad Vashem, which is Israel's national Holocaust memorial, honored Ilza as righteous among the nations. In 2013, the city of Würzburg named a street after her. Ilza's story provides insight into multiple facets of everyday life in Nazi Germany. It shows us just how complicit ordinary Germans were in the Nazi regime's ability to be able to find and then persecute LGBTQ people. Ultimately, the Nazis were more interested in Ilse's interactions with Jewish people, but her perceived sexuality and gender nonconformity is what compelled not just one but multiple people to denounce her to the Nazis and put her on the Nazis' radar in the first place. But her story also demonstrates Ilse's solidarity with Jewish people and her commitment to protecting her friend Ruth. She looked Nazi officials in the eye and told them that she disagreed with their ideology and their policies. That's a conviction we can all strive for.